station of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
The first of many weekly press conferences for Oregon football head coach Dan Lanning last night. We have that for you to kick off Duck Insider today. Also, Deputy Athletic Director H.J. Cohn will be with us here in the Country Financial Studio coming up in just a little while. Trent, Kersten, Oregon Volleyball head coach, because it's game week for Oregon football, but Oregon Volleyball gets rolling on Friday night. They're on the road to start the season, the first official matches for Duck Volleyball in the Coach Kersten era. We're going to talk with the Oregon Volleyball head coach coming up in just a little while. After their exhibition with Oregon State and a road trip to open the season coming up, we'll talk a little Duck Volleyball today. And you know that it's game day because our students start to come back. Those that aren't student athletes, they start to flock back to campus. And what do you know? Today I walk into the studio after football practice, and who is here but one of our best interns in Shyla, who has just suddenly appeared again. It's like it's game week. People just start appearing again because games are being played this week. The first Big Ten football games are 2 days away. We'll make some more picks coming up on Friday. First Oregon football game, of course, at 1 o'clock on Saturday against Montana State. 11 a.m. pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network. And our first Oregon football coaches show is coming your way Wednesday for the first Oregon football coaches show. Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We'll talk with Coach Lanning and Tatum Tuioti in our first special edition Oregon football coaches show here in the Country Financial Studio. 1 o'clock against Montana State, a team that is ranked second in the preseason coaches poll heading into this season. They are a power at the FCS level. Tough test to start the season. A team that's obviously very proud, and they're excited to be here. I was actually just looking through their depth chart, and one thing that sticks out before we hear from Coach Lanning, looking at the quarterback position, you go, that's a familiar name. The Ducks trounced Stanford a couple years ago on the farm. Justin Lampson was the starting quarterback for the Cardinal. He will lead Montana State at Autzen Stadium here coming up on Saturday at 1 o'clock. We'll also talk with Keaton Gilligley. He is the voice of the Bobcats coming up this week. That's on Thursday's edition of Duck Insider. Looking forward to talking with Keaton, some of the views from the other side of this matchup as we get ready for Oregon football against Montana State. Every Monday evening, Dan Lanning meets with the media during a game week, and that's how we begin Duck Insider today. Brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Dan Lanning's weekly press conference as we get ready for the season opener at Autzen.
Exciting week. It's finally here, right? Get to go play a football game against a really good opponent. You know, Coach Vigen's done an unbelievable job with his team. I think he's the second winningest coach in Montana State history. Obviously, they've competed for championships. And when you watch their team play, you see why they've been so successful, right? Do a really good job disguising coverages on defense, playing with relentless effort. They have some guys that have had a lot of success, a little bit of continuity there, good rushers, but some guys that can play football on that side of the ball on offense. Also have a lot of talent. Taco Dollar is a really talented wide receiver. It's been really good in the return game for him as well. You know, quarterback that we've actually seen before, Justin. It's a guy that we played against when he was at Stanford, and it sounds like he has good control of the offense. So there's going to be some new pieces, some changes. Obviously, new coordinators on both sides of the ball for them. One that's been there on defense, and then one that's a change there offensively. So have to prepare for a lot of different things, but excited for this opponent.
Going back to the offense, #1 rushing offense last year in college football. Just what makes their rushing offense so productive?
Yeah, I think they present a lot of different pictures that are tough. Their guys play with some physicality. I mean, they have some guys returning up front that have been good players for them on the offensive line, but they're really good at creating hats in the run game. They've always been dangerous when it comes to quarterback run as well, right? And that's something that that Justin's shown in his past, his ability to run. So it's something we certainly have to prepare for.
And there's new coordinators, new faces for them across positions. How do you kind of prepare? What's the process for that when there's so much newness?
You prepare for a lot, and ultimately you try to say, okay, our rules have to play out, right? You could get a lot of different things, and you have to say, okay, are our rules sound? And if you have sound rules, the rest kind of takes care of itself.
Following with that, Dan, from a practical standpoint, just how much film is there from Colorado School of Mines and Exos for you guys to mine through?
Yeah, we've been able to get some. You have to work connections a little bit different when it comes from huddle and trying to find different ways to find that, but we've been able to find a lot of film.
Kind of building off of that, just how much film are you able to watch of Justin from that 2023 game against Stanford, and how much do you have to kind of go off of that, but also look at some of the more recent film and how he has grown since then?
Yeah, I mean, you look at that for an evaluation as a player, but you spend a lot more time watching scheme from coordinator's perspective and what Montana State did last year on offense perspective as that falls in.
Back on media day, you said to play winning football, we need to learn to stop the run at a more consistent rate. With the running attack that Montana State brings, what have you been preaching to the defense, and what do you hope to see coming this Saturday?
Well, just that. I mean, they've had a lot of success. They've outrushed their opponent, and several of their wins. Like that's a common denominator for them. When they outrush their opponent, they win the game, right? So we have to do a great job of rushing more than they're able to rush and stopping the run when we get those opportunities.
You certainly hope they don't get to the red zone offensively in the first place, but given how efficient they are there, how much would it be as a useful gauge if they do get there to see how the defense performs inside the red zone against an effective red zone offense?
Give me that question.
You hope they don't get there in the first place, but when you're trying to gauge how effective your red zone defense is, how useful a gauge would it be when they're very good at it offensively?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good gauge.
There was a partnership this week announced between the NFL and Microsoft where they talked about how they're going to start implementing AI and make it available for coaches, whether it's suggesting a play call or roster management here and there. I'm wondering what your opinion was when that news came out. And
I didn't know that happened. Yeah.
Like Sean.
I'm not using ChatGPT on my sideline to decide what we're going to run. But I mean, I'd be interested in what kind of information that provides. But I don't know if that's made it to us. I mean, I think AI is something that's going to continue to grow. It'll continue to be a part of the game, probably as much as anything from a scouting standpoint. But it's still the early days probably for us at our level there.
I think since you got here, I think one of the biggest themes that you've talked about is it's Oregon versus Oregon. It's us versus us. Just how has the team on both sides of the ball kind of made each other better throughout fall camp in preparation all for this game one?
Yeah, I said it the other day. I think we're ready to hit another team, right? We're ready to hit somebody else other than ourselves. That being said, I think there's a lot of respect for this team that we're about to play, and I think it's a great, first team to have that opportunity for us. So we will take all the days of prep that we can get. But it's about us playing to our standard. There's some unknowns about the opponent because it is game one, and they've had some changes just like we have. Right, so can you make sure that you have sound rules again for your players and let them go execute at a really high level? And the thing that I'm probably most proud of in fall camp is there's not a day where I was like, okay, we didn't get work accomplished today. We got better every day with this team, and they had a level of maturity to go do that.
In bringing Barone onto the support staff and recruiting staff, just what do you hope he, as a former All-American here, what do you hope he brings to the staff, and why was this the right time for that to happen?
Yeah, we really care about the guys that have given so much to this program. And Verone's a great example, was a great player here, went on to have an opportunity in the National Football League and a chance to keep playing. And I think he realized, hey, I want to still be around football. And when you can have guys that had great experiences at Oregon, that love this place like we love it, that want to be back here, I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do for us. And I know that all that will come with hard work and just finding a way to make our team better.
I love a lot of guys on Saturday playing their first career start at Oregon or their first start ever at a college level. Do you embrace that anxiety or excitement towards it, or do you kind of downplay it. Don't talk about it with so many guys on your roster.
I haven't really talked about it yet because the truth is there's going to be a lot of guys out there playing for us that haven't played a lot. But what gives you confidence in those moments is that they've had a lot of experience in practice, right? And that experience, if we've done a good job of making it feel like a game, it's going to carry over.
Offensive guard is a position that's just really hard to project at the next level and whatnot. What makes E-Man as good as he is at that job?
Yeah, it starts with the ability to move bodies. You have to have great size. He's has that. He has great strength. I think the intelligence required for offensive line, people don't realize the amount of calls that get made on the offensive line and change when the picture changes. He's handled that really well. And but ultimately, he's a fun player to be around. His teammates enjoy him. They play harder for him. But he's athletic and he's got great size.
I know you're probably a veteran at this point, but what's it been like for you personally these past couple of days, knowing that the season is right there, right on the cusp?
Excitement. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of excitement. So your favorite part of the year is getting to coach football, right? And I enjoy practice just as much as the games at times, just because you get to see the growth and the opportunity to improve. But, yeah, I'm really excited to get out there.
Does Kingston offer you guys just a little bit more by way of versatility, Dan, compared to there's not a lot of 6'5" DBs who might be able to play both inside and outside? Does he offer just a little bit more than most of guys his size?
Yeah. I mean, Kingston was a guy who was a great wideout coming out of high school. Is obviously also a really talented DB, but he has some athletic traits that aren't common at his position and certainly help us out.
With how many elements that are new to this team, do you feel like this week 1 game is going to be a true testament to figuring out who you guys actually are? Or do you guys feel like you have a good sense of your identity from fall camp?
Well, I think regardless of result, whoever we are on Saturday, I hope it's not remotely close to who we become, right? And you always talk about becoming, the best version of yourselves, and I think we're a long ways away from what we could become, but I think this will be a good starting point to assess exactly where we're at. Make sure all of our fans show up. I know we're gonna have an unbelievable crowd on Saturday. Excited to see Autzen full again.
I love that from Coach Lanning at the end of his press conference, just on his way out. Nope, come back, say, hey, fans, we're looking forward to it. It is a 1 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Oregon hosting Montana State. Again, a good opponent, disciplined. And to borrow a phrase from Will Stein, just earlier this camp, he talked about how, hey, early in the season last year, offense didn't find that rhythm. And that's kind of akin to what Coach was saying there, right? The Ducks have gotten a lot better. They've grown a lot. Kenyon Sadiq, Bryce Betcher, meeting with the media today, actually said that as well. Those full interviews coming up for you later on today and tomorrow. I think that's been a theme for this Duck team in this camp is they felt like they weren't in a rhythm early. They didn't have a lot of momentum early last season. I'd look for them to try to find that this season, whether it be taking what the defense gives you when the Ducks are on offense, or if it's the Duck defense, really zeroing in on stopping the run. Tosh Lupoy continues to come back to that point every time he talks to us. Just stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. And his defensive players have continued to say that as well. Stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. Look for that among many other keys, but look for those as keys to the game, I think, coming up against Montana State on Saturday. And yes, I realize that I just said, in very Jorgie fashion, Scott's looking at me with just such a face of chagrin right now. You have to run the ball on offense, and you have to stop the run on defense. Mike Jorgensen's keys to the game. If Jorgie does say those as his keys to the game on Friday, I will just absolutely slow clap. It will be great. That's Coach Lanning, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. We still got Coach Kersten coming up from Oregon Volleyball. Also, Deputy Athletic Director H.J. Cohn will join us. Football season approaching. We're going to talk with H.J. when we come back. Keep it here. It's Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hear The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's national sales event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Just like how our students tend to start showing up in the studio again because it's game week, Deputy Athletic Director H.J. Cohn fully sprints into the studio. That's how you know it's game week, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Hey, it's game week. Thanks for taking the time during a busy
Multiple
week.
game week.
Multiple game week. Soccer on Thursday at home. Volleyball's on the road on Friday. Cross-country season's getting rolling. Fall sports are here. You ready?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Excited.
I have to tell everybody this. Okay. HJ did come fully running in during the commercial break. And I have to tell you, I really just appreciate that energy today.
Well, I've always said, we need to put a little window in that door because I'm going to hurt someone because I like to Kramer it when I come in. And there is a major risk on this end of the wall for those that are standing there.
Anybody ever stands there.
I know, but if you time it right, like if I nailed them when they were walking out or something, it is really fun. Like I really like to be aggressive with it. Kind of sets the tone.
You know, and also that, I don't know if you've noticed, that door kind of sticks. So sometimes you've never noticed that because it's just open it right away.
Yeah.
Look, how was your summer? What'd you do all summer? Yeah, that's right. See, bulking up. That's right.
Lacking. Had a great summer. Had a great time. We wrapped up. It feels like you get to the end of June and then you got NCAA championships and that kind of closes out the school year, if you will. But then we still have a lot of track and field events over the summer. And then certainly some other Duck Athletic Fund events, and you're planning for the season and fall sports and ticket planning. So there's still a lot of things going on day to day. It's not necessarily game or event driven, but you're doing a lot of planning, if you will. So had a great summer, if you will, and was excited that we're finally here for kids are almost back in school. It's personally just more fun when there's that energy of student athletes around the building, around school and campus. To create that buzz. And so it just means it's here and there's games coming up, home and away, and we're excited to support them.
Yeah, you start to see, like fans flock to the Duck store a lot this week, right? There is that buzz that comes that I always say that the media day for football, like as fall camp begins, to me it kind of feels like the first day of school.
Yeah.
The first games for these various sports, it's kind of like the first test of the school year.
Yeah, and then you start having, at least in the kind of the areas I predominantly work in the external facing between ticketing, Duck Athletic Fund, as fall camp starts, not only for football, but for the other sports, and there's more reporting and more news articles and more updates around them, that interaction with fans and customers and supporters and donors, season ticket holders ramps up as well. So it's been great. I'm super excited, looking forward to obviously a home football game this weekend, some other home sports are hosting, and seeing especially too Coach Joyner and Coach Kersten getting their starts and under the way. Tracy already started, obviously, and Trent starting here soon. So excited for them to get going as well.
A slow news summer in college athletics. How did that impact your life?
Well, hopefully a lot of people got it, but we had been discussing And obviously, we're fortunate to have an industry leader as our athletic director, someone who's been here, at least in athletic director terms, for a long time, and someone that's extremely well respected in the industry. Obviously, he received that award recently. And, one thing that we had talked about for a while building up is how do we proactively communicate a topic that maybe we're well versed in discussing because we live and breathe it every day, but it is a lot to comprehend. And so we wanted to, it wasn't the winner is going to be the first one to get their news out there. So we had waited till after July 1 and post-house settlement as what it's referred to, and then sent out a summary late last week, and just to educate our fan base of, what is Oregon doing, and then what is the world of college athletics look like. And so just really an educational piece, but also what we're going to lean into. And we do reference in that letter the increase of scholarships, and we want to certainly play a part of that. And Duck Athletic Fund, whether it's a smaller donation or a major gift donation, whatever it may be, everything is impacting in a positive manner for that to allow us to remain competitive and also provide these student athletes more opportunities. So that's really what we were trying to focus on is, again, real clear education, because it's a lot to digest.
It is.
But two, offer up opportunities for for people to engage in the form of a donation, buying tickets, following us on social media. All of that plays a role in the larger ecosystem.
Yeah, on Athletic Director Tuesday, at least here in this season of Duck Insider, has been very informative, I will say. For that, because your colleagues that come on and talk about these very large issues and sort of make them digestible, I'll just say it is helpful. I feel that way, because I'd like to think I'm relatively well-versed on what goes on in college athletics, but you all are in these meetings with a lot of other smart people that try to figure out how the best ways to handle these things are, and it is a lot, right? I mean, it is. It just is.
Yeah, I think that college athletics as a whole has changed. One thing I kind of summarize, if you will, is, if you go back 30, 40 years ago, it was probably, relatively speaking, I don't want to say fully on cruise control, but there was a pretty a consistent path, if you will.
Yeah, the river was calm and consistent.
Yeah, and you look at what has transpired over the course of the last 5 to 6 years between obviously a worldwide pandemic, conference realignment, and us joining the Big Ten, name, image, and likeness. So those three particularly are just what comes into recent memory. And then you fast forward, and there's the SEC is changing to 9 games and starting in 26 of conference games, and that's going to potentially have larger impact on CFP. And so I think that we just all are more comfortable with understanding that change is going to be constant, and how do you set yourself up and prepare for that change to be successful and have a competitive advantage.
Well, that's, to put it mildly too, like you mentioned, just ways to engage. Like certainly football is a big economic driver, and that's why there's such a focus on it, but also there's just a lot of passion behind these programs right now, right? That's what I look forward to. And with all this, I feel like there is just going to be this exhale for me when I sit in the broadcast booth, and it's like, okay, it's still college football.
Yeah,
that's still what it all is coming up on Saturday.
There's certainly a buzz building up this week. You can feel it. We're basically approaching to be a sellout for the home opener, which is fantastic. I expect it to be loud. Forecast looks good. So I think that, going back to the previous part of that conversation is when you look at where we're going, and again, I go back to not only Rob, but a staff throughout the department that is in alignment and understanding, okay, how do we continue to gain that competitive advantage, both to provide a great student-athlete experience in the classroom, on the field, but also what does it mean for our fans? And you got to be collectively rowing in the same direction. And so for us, putting that scholarship opportunity out there of the ways that just another way people can help with the changing landscape was really a big part of the message.
All right, we're going to get a timeout. Deputy Athletic Director H.J. Cohn is with us. Hard-hitting question about his pen when we come back. Stick with us. It's Duck Insider. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. He is Deputy Athletic Director H.J. Cohn, who always keeps a pen in a handy spot, and now we have to know why.
It's not a great story, but I remember this is probably 13 years ago. I was down in Northern California, and I was going to visit a potential donor. And, you know, at the end of the lunch meeting, he said, you know what, I want to write a check. And he had his checkbook. And I was like, wonderful, thank you so much and for the support. And we talked about where it was going, all the details. He's like, hey, can I borrow your pen? Ooh. And I was penless. And I didn't have a briefcase or anything, but I was like, we're at a restaurant. I'll just get it from. So he was like, and it wasn't like a stern, but he's like, if you're asking people for money, you should always have a pen on you. And so darn near sleep with this thing now.
Yeah.
So I always try and have a pen on me, and it's more just maybe the good story, but also just a comfort piece, I guess.
Black pen or blue pen?
Just a pen that has the clip on that doesn't break or runs out of ink. So yeah.
How many pens do you go through in a year?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't have a clue. Probably more than not just the ink, but the losing of them.
Yeah.
But you always got to have a pen available.
I'm glad that we could talk about this today. I have a far less interesting story, but I also always have a pen with me.
Okay.
It is
autographs. You're a big NIL guy.
No, definitely not. This was actually a gift. It was one of those, like, you don't know what to get the person for, like, a stocking stuffer sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, like a telescoping pen. That's a cool thing that people can have. And I'm not kidding you. Now, for 15 years, this has always been on my keychain. And I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've been like, yeah, you know what? You need a pen? I got you covered.
Yeah. Well, especially when, like, you're with Jerry and Georgie and they do have fans, that you can be the guy, be like, yeah, I'll get an autograph for you from them.
100% you are right.
Yeah.
Jerry's autograph and Georgie's autograph together, priceless.
Exactly.
Because I'm not sure that they've ever signed the same thing together.
Yeah. Well, we might get the 3 J's.
Boy, I don't know. You know, somebody actually commented the other day that we need to make shirts that are about our J. I'm open to suggestions of ideas.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be no one making comments after this segment based on us going down the pen brigade.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to make sure, though, that we covered our bases. There is a lot of excitement building for this team. We've talked about that a little bit. But also, I know one thing that you're passionate about is taking feedback from fans, making adjustments for the fan experience, not just the student-athlete experience, and that's something that we are doing here again. GoDucks.com/gameday for everything that you need to know. What do you want fans to know heading into first game at Autzen?
Yeah, I appreciate you offering that conversation up. I guess, for us, Autzen Stadium has been a focal point for us as we look forward to this weekend, and there's constant changes. I think it's no secret we're building and developing a new indoor practice facility.
You don't say.
That has impacted some parking. We think that, while it's not perfect and everyone is in the exact same spot they were always in, I think it will enhance the game day. The spaces, for example, are a little bit longer for tailgating purposes.
2 feet exactly.
2 feet exactly, yeah. So there's little things like that you do want to take into account. It impacted our bus transportation system. We have found a way and worked diligently. Our facilities team has worked really, really hard to find a path forward to, again, service as many fans as possible. So looking into all that, will it look a little bit differently? Yes, but from our standpoint, our job is to fulfill it from a functionality in a way that is successful for our fans that are attending games. We went through this when we redid the parking lot on the east lot too. So I think there's going to be things that we are always looking to improve, some of which, in this case was dictated by a new facility. Would you rather have that or keep everything the same forever?
Right.
It's like, well, you'd rather have that opportunity to come to you and adjust accordingly to the best of your ability, knowing not everything's probably going to be 100% perfect. Shoot, if we can get in the 99%, we're doing all right. But again, forward thinking of looking for fan feedback always. We've done that every year on the concession side, the price points. We do that in ticketing and value years or sections when we look at ticketing and renewal rates and where does the value and where can we pull back, where can we go gain more. So there's just, I think for us, when it comes to off season of any sport, we look at customer experience, fan experience on game days particularly. Those are the areas that we obviously want to focus in, and that goes for all of our venues. That's Hayward Field to Pape Field to football, you name it, Matthew Knight Arena. We're looking at all the sports of saying, okay, what is the customer today versus what they were last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago for that matter.
$5 duck deals, for example, for concessions this year. Sarge was in last week
talking
about that. And that's something, by the way, on Friday. Sarge will be back with more concession updates. So you'll love this. I asked him last Friday, so Sarge, $5 duck deals, anything else you want to talk about? He just goes, not yet. So I guess you got to come back to the show on Friday of this week. And
is he going to bring a sample with him, hopefully?
He usually does. There
you go.
Though I got to say, word has apparently gotten out that happens because – much like how today Shyla just appeared, our intern just shows back up during game week. For some reason, all my interns come in on Fridays,
yeah,
H.J.
Sure.
All of them show up on Friday.
They street smarts. They get it. Can't teach it.
But now people in the department start coming to the studio at 2:02 in the afternoon, and they're like, hey, anything left from Sarge? So
okay.
Sarge, we owe you. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But concessions, though, I know, that's just one example that you gave. But the entire operation, and certainly you mentioned, new indoor practice facility, the road looks different, wider sidewalks, all the things that we've talked about on the show. I wanted to come back, though, for you for a second, H, and talk about the importance of that practice facility. Because you talk about, the resources and trying to engage with people to get excited, but also the design that benefits the student athletes. There's just a lot to unpack there that you and I haven't talked about much. And I thought, hey, a lot of people that haven't been to the Autzen area in a while are going to now see what's happening, the foundation that's being built for this practice facility. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think, as it relates specifically to college football and how you coach and teach in the practice side of things has changed drastically from many, many years ago. And so with that requires more space, for one. And so when this project the ideation started, beginning of it, is we really looked at, okay, the Mashofsky Center as it stands right now is a great asset to the university and the athletic department, not only from a practice and training standpoint, but for game days, outside events. And what we looked at it after doing some homework was it was our number one utilized facility. So it's not just a football facility. All of our sports at some level are utilizing that. And so it was kind of, the way I described it is you kind of outgrew your house. You grew your family so much you outgrew your house and you needed more space and more real estate. And so that's kind of where it transpired from. And when we said, okay, we have a footprint here that we can squeeze it into, we worked with the city on some things. It was, there was going to be some changes. And as I summarize it to some of our staff, is short-term pain for long-term gain.
Sure.
The short-term pain is our football department or football program is losing 2 outdoor practice fields for the course of, not foreseeable future, but at least a little short while. And what that means is they have to practice in the Mashofsky Center or in Autzen Stadium. But when they get those fields back online, plus an additional indoor, that's actually going to alleviate training in the current Mashofsky Center for all the other programs. So the new indoor facility actually directly impacts every single sport and program. That includes strength and conditioning. That includes real practices. That includes, golf. Ironically, I see Coach Radley down there. You got cheer, you name it. Every sport at some level is being impacted or program being impacted. So maybe even concessions for all I know when it's all said and done. Maybe John can start setting up tailgaters on Friday night before a little earlier. I don't know. But with all that I think it'll be a great gift. It's privately funded. We're very fortunate for that, and look forward to opening it when we do.
All right, now I have to tell you to come full circle. I just want you to know that William noted that used to be in sales, and it was a thing to always have a pen on hand. See? See?
I like it. William's on it.
Not just you.
Good. Hopefully we can train some more people to wear pens.
Yeah, good work, William. Always have that pen around. You never know.
Exactly.
Do you still carry business cards?
I do.
Yeah, see?
Mm-hmm.
See? H.J. Cohn, Deputy Athletic
Old
Director.
school.
What did we miss? Anything else fans should know today?
No, excited, but always want to say thank you. Thank you to the fans, the people that are not able to attend games but follow us online, support us, buy online from Fanatics to get their gear, get their Nike Duck gear, all the way to people attending every single game they can. So just thank you. Our fundraising will continue to be a big priority for the department, and just thank you for the support. We really are fortunate to be in a place at Oregon that has a ton of support, not only locally but nationally, and you can hopefully see the impact it's having on our student athletes, not both in the classroom but competitively on the fields and in the stadiums and gyms as well.
My last call to action for everyone tuning into the show today is that if you happen to see H.J. at one of our sporting events, I'd really love for you to go up to him and ask him for an autograph with his pen. Please, someone do that for me. Deputy Athletic Director H.J. Cohn.
Thank you as always, buddy.
Thank you. We're going to get timeout. Coming back with Trent Kersten, Oregon Volleyball head coach. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hear that? The crowd's going wild for all the end of summer fun at Toyota's National Sales Event. Going now until September 2nd. Woo-hoo!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You say you never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Yeah, it's a great week. So Trent Kersten, Oregon Volleyball head coach, walks in. He just hands us the game official volleyball. Look at this. You got the O on one side, the duck head on the other. Like, Coach, that's going front and center on the desk the rest of the season. Thank you for that. That was really nice.
Of course. I didn't know if it was for you or your kids. I was like, I don't know what I'm bringing here.
No,
you know?
The truth is, so my son, we talked about this before, my son got one of the smaller version of the I'll call it the fancy decorated ball. Yeah. Is that a good description?
Sure.
And I said, well, that's really cool. I would love one for the desk. I asked my son if I could bring it to work, and he looked at me and was like, no, you can't have this. And so then I said, well, hey, I'd really love to grab one. I didn't know I was getting full-size volleyball, Coach.
Well, I mean, you ask Haley for something, she's going to deliver. Our director of ops is pretty awesome with that stuff. So, yeah.
Haley, I owe you one.
Yeah.
Thank you. So now we got to decide where it goes on the desk. I feel like there's an opening right there behind Uncle Phil.
There you go.
We've got the Uncle Phil bobblehead. Hang on. Live.
There you go.
Live interaction. You can't see it good. We're gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
Coach, how was the exhibition? Huh?
Yeah, it was good. Good experience. It's nice to play against someone else for sure. Found out we're not where we need to be in some areas. We played 4 sets. And honestly, just defensively, we're not performing where we need to be right now, which is always better to hear in an exhibition when it doesn't count. Just because it gives you some time to prep and readdress some things, right? And even in the set that we actually came out with pretty well, offensively we were pretty stellar in that set, and we were able to absorb a bunch of different areas. We still weren't very great from the service line. We weren't great defensively, but we were so good offensively we could kind of take care of that set. And then in some of the other phases of the game, we just need to be a little bit sharper over the next 4 sets. We played 4 different lineups, had all 3 setters active, had 4 different liberos, and so got a bunch of different looks. I would have loved for us to be a little bit better defensively and from the service line like we've talked about, but we weren't on that night, and so we have to figure out how to win in different scenarios. And as you're building your resume through the season, you're just looking to find a bunch of different ways that you can win games.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Very rarely do you get to only win in maybe 3 ways. You kind of got to have a list of 10 ways that you can figure things out. And so when you get down and you're down in the first set, or you lose the first set, it's okay, well, here's our list. Here's what's going well. What can we pull from right now to create the story that we want to create in the match?
Yeah, I'm curious too, though, with playing as many different lineups as you said, and still finding that rotation. How valuable was that experience in an exhibition format?
Yeah, I think it was great because you're not playing ourselves. You're playing a different system. They're going to expose you in different ways. But honestly, we just got exposed in some really simple discipline stuff, where our positioning is in our base. How's our posture in a long rally, and some things like that. And so we've been working really hard. We had a great training session yesterday to try and address some of those things. We'll have another one today, and then we'll leave for Montana State here tomorrow morning.
You touched on it there a little bit. What I was going to ask you though, just the value of playing against somebody else, it's not your system, it's different. That does matter, doesn't it?
And in someone else's gym, right? And so, and it's also a place that we get to play when it really counts here in a few weeks. So I thought it was a great experience. I thought we had moments offensively overall we were okay. We weren't bad, we were okay. But we couldn't absorb as poor as we were defensively. You know.
Do you find, and I know every team is a little different, this might be a bit of an unfair question, do you find in your sport that an offense or a defense tends to click first? Where does the chemistry click in volleyball?
Ooh, I think it depends on how long everyone's been playing together in the same system.
Sure.
Right? And we're still, I think we talked last week, hey, where are you in your installs? And it's about half, that's where we're at right now. And at what point do you, when you're getting ready to go compete, do you really tone down the installs and just try and get great at a few things, And so that's kind of the phase of the season that we're in right now.
It's the less is more in the playbook
kind
of thing.
Yeah, without taking away the game, right? Because there's still game, there's still adjustments that need to be made, there's still schemes that need to be had to be able to, just come up with a couple more points a set, right? A scheme isn't going to get you 10 points a set. It's going to get you 1 or 2.
Yeah.
That's it, right? And so can we be a little bit sharper in some of those phases to come up with those 1 or 2 points that help us compete at the highest level?
Well, we'll find out for sure. I know coming up Friday, we'll talk about the opener on the road to start the season. The lineup, though, you feel like you're starting to settle in a little bit and what the rotation's going to be?
We're getting closer. I think we've got 2 different things that we're looking at right now, and there's some variance in, a couple positional groups within those 2 looks that we're looking at right now.
I was curious, too, just as you're at this point in the season, how about the leadership of your team, Coach? What can you tell us about the roster as it starts to take shape? You have some veterans, but so many new faces. I don't know, just the leadership. How valuable is that for your program?
Yeah, super valuable. I mean, it comes from veterans just because they've been on the boat the longest.
Right.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
they've been through, 3 or 4 collegiate seasons. They know what to expect a little bit more. They know what it's like to train when you're tired, when you have travel that gets delayed or this and that, and they show up the next day. Like, they know they can do that because they've built that resume, right? And so then it's trying to drip down to all the newbies and like, hey, you guys can do this too. Like, this is okay. We're going to train through some of this. We're going to really monitor our volume and trying to make sure that we're at our best for December. But we're also going to lift for December right now.
Right.
Like, you're going to be sore right now through the fall, through all of November, and then when you get to December, then you get to play pretty free.
Right. I was curious too, like, as now at this point where you're approaching your first matchups with other opponents, like counting games, how different is the college training schedule compared to like an international training schedule? I was curious about that with just so much international influence on your roster. Is it different? How is it different?
Yeah, man, that's actually a great question to ask because I think it's different in wherever country you're in.
Sure.
Right? I think what you would find from maybe a couple of our players would be just the pressure to perform and win is like extreme and unhealthy in some of their organizations from back home. And so that's been a tough thing to deal with here or there, right? And some people have the opposite where it's like, oh man, like I get to play in a stadium with 10,000 people. Like I've never gotten to do that before,
right?
And that's a pretty cool experience. But there's also pressure where it's like, wow, these people are showing up to watch us play. Like my performance matters. And so what, as a staff, we have to really do a great job is separating like our craft. Like volleyball is something that we do. It is not who we are.
Right.
And so can we listen to the game and say, okay, volleyball is telling me that I need to get better as a blocker, as a zone 6 defender, or whatever it is, and not take that like as a personal attack.
Sure.
Right. And that's where we have to do a really good job as a staff of like knowing, hey, we work with people, but we have to separate the craft a little bit from who we are and how we're going to show up every day.
Do you find that is maybe in general the most difficult part of coaching is that separation of identity?
Yes. And just the other thing is just you get something new every day. Right? Like, and so you're just always rolling with the punches a little bit. Can you handle messy really well?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like the mess is like, oh, your kid spilled some ketchup on the floor and it's really easy. And sometimes it's like they dumped the whole bottle on their head and it's like instant bath time. You're in it, right?
Yes. I know. It's almost like maybe that's happened to you because it's happened to me.
Yeah.
Like I know exactly what you're talking about with that analogy. We're talking volleyball with Coach Kersten. All right, so hitting the road Friday, 3 o'clock in Bozeman against South Dakota. What can you tell us about South Dakota? What do you expect?
Yeah, they have a couple key returners, so they're going to give us some good competition. I think they were over a 20-win team last year, and so I expect them to do well in their conference and help us with a good scheduling opponent. It's also just great to go to Bozeman. It's a place that is near and dear to my heart. I love going up to Montana. I've been up there every year since I was probably 12, fishing with my dad at some point. This was the first year I didn't get to go in 20 years. So we scheduled them,
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do any fishing while I'm out there.
I was gonna say, I can't imagine there's a lot of, especially 3 matches in 3 days.
Yeah.
Right. I mean there's something to that, isn't there?
Yeah. It's adjusting to volume. It's adjusting to playing back to back to back. We do this only twice this season. Right. So normally, or I guess historically in volleyball, you do this 3 or 4 times. And so we're only doing it twice, and then we've separated the other weekends to only have 2 matches per week type of thing. And so I think that'll be a good progression for us.
I was curious if you thought that was going to kind of continue because it seems like in general, to your point, volleyball has stretched out, I guess, a little bit more with like you'd see less of those big weekends with multiple matches.
Yeah, and hopefully, we mentioned on an earlier show that we got an extra week of training this year.
Right.
And so much of that was because of the AVCA First Serve that happened this past weekend, which was really cool, really great events. The fans came out and attended it really well. But if we can have another week of competition, I think the 2 matches would get more and more normalized.
And ultimately, that's what the postseason would be.
Correct.
Right, and that's what the postseason is. So it seems to make sense to me, at least, that's what you're trying to replicate.
Exactly.
Here, right?
Yeah. Well, it's what postseason is. It's what our conference is.
Right.
Right. And there's days where we do play back to back, but most of the time it's like a Friday, Sunday, a Thursday, Saturday type of thing.
Yeah. When you have 3 in a weekend, how does that impact you guys as coaches? Just preparing and film study, all the different things that come with that.
Yeah. Well, I've been lucky enough to have some great mentors that said, "Hey, do your first weekend scout before season starts." And so our scout has been done for this weekend as much as it could be for a few weeks right now. You know, and so it's been pretty normal. We just watched some video with our teams as we're prepping. Like yesterday or last night, we watched Montana State. Tonight we'll watch Prairie View A&M, and then tomorrow we'll get into South Dakota. And so it's more of a refresher when we get to the next match. It's kind of in reverse order.
I was going to say that is reverse, because on Sunday is Montana State, Prairie View A&M on Saturday, the opener against South Dakota at 3 o'clock on Friday. There you go.
Yep.
So you're going on the road.
Yep.
You ready?
Ready. Yeah, really excited. And again, I think you find out a lot about your team after you hear some feedback of like a game or a match that's like, oh man, you guys aren't quite sharp enough in some skills, and how do you show up for practice? And I thought they did a great job of that yesterday. I think that's really going to help us grow and really come together a little bit more before our first competition.
There's also got to be some excitement, right? Like, it's the opener. You always get excited about the opener.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's exciting. There's so much new, right? And so I think we're just ready to play for it to count, for it to matter, and let's see, who continues to show up with the lights.
Do you get to bring your own volleyballs?
I don't think we're bringing our own balls
These are
on
sweet.
this trip. Yeah.
Man, these are sweet.
Yeah.
God. Thanks for this, though.
Of course.
I owe you one. I owe Haley one.
Yep.
So thank you. It will be front and center on the desk. Our desk is admittedly a little busy.
Yep.
We'll have to maybe rearrange some things. I have some ideas. We'll change it all up before you're in here next time.
Perfect.
Just real quick, what do you want to see from your team? Some keys to success for the weekend.
Yeah, I want to see us be a lot sharper on the defensive side of the ball. I'd like to see us a lot sharper from the service line. Both of those things have been our big keys this week going into it. Offensively, we were good enough, and we've been statistically good enough in some areas that show us that we can compete at a high level. We'd like to see that continue to improve, but the two areas that we're really dialed into are serving and our defensive.
Trent Kersten, Oregon Volleyball head coach. Hey, best of luck on the road.
Thank you.
Season is here. We'll look forward to reviewing it with you here coming up next Tuesday. Travel safe, Coach.
Awesome. Thank you.
Time out when we come back, wrapping up the show, getting ready for the rest of the week, including some home matchups for Oregon soccer. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt U.S. Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
We're doing some interior redecorating here on the desk. The volleyball has made it now front and center. I'm telling you, I thought that we were going to end up with like the small giveaway version, so every kid has the chance to get one of the starter balls for Oregon Volleyball when they do starting lineups at Oregon Volleyball. This is the full-size version, though, and it's awesome. It might just have to stay right there. This is why doing this, as you can imagine, is so much fun, because there's always something new and cool here at the University of Oregon. I mean, the cup that the ball is sitting on says the grass is damn green in Eugene. I mean, thank you to Coach Lanning for that one. We owe you for that phrase forever. And there are many a shirts that have been worn and many a cups that have been made now that have that phrase on there. But I mean it sincerely. Thanks to Haley. Thanks to Coach for bringing it over. That's cool to add that to the desk for a new era for Oregon Volleyball. And I think now going on the road for Oregon Volleyball, I'm curious to see, one, how they do, but then two, I'm just excited to have them home against Portland next Wednesday. That'll be 6 o'clock for the home opener next Wednesday following the Labor Day weekend. Looking forward to Oregon volleyball season getting going. For Oregon soccer, they're coming back to Pape Field with a 2-1-1 record after a 3-0 shutout of Hawaii to conclude that trip on Sunday. 6:30 on Thursday. It'll be on Big Plus and KWVA. New Mexico is in town for a 6:30 start against Tracy Joyner's Oregon soccer team. We will talk with Coach Joyner on the show tomorrow after a nice win against Hawaii. I know they were disappointed in the Thursday showing against Sacramento State, a 1-0 loss for Oregon soccer, then bounced back on Sunday on the Islands with that 3-0 win over Hawaii. Back in town, recovering from the long road trip, and a 6:30 start against New Mexico. Today, on Thursday, that is. Today, we heard from Bryce Betcher and Kenyon Sadiq. We won't have their full interviews for you on the show today, but we will have them on the show for you tomorrow. I mentioned Coach Joyner joining us. Also, Dusty Hara going to check in with us, our Oregon football sideline reporter. And the first Oregon football coaches show of the season is tomorrow. Dan Lanning, Tatum Tuioti will be with us as we all get ready for that opener against Montana State. Another reminder for GoDucks.com/gameday. Any info you want for Oregon football, GoDucks.com/gameday. Televised on Big Ten Network on Saturday, and we will have an 11 a.m. pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network, including some conversations with Devin Jackson, Pancho Lalaulu, and I'm sitting down with defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoy getting ready for the season. Another show in the books. See you tomorrow.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of